Hello, everybody. Welcome back to She's Crafty. I am Shannon, and I'm so excited that you came to my channel today. This is the fourth layout in the RTS Scrapbooking 444 series. There is the instructions if you want to stop the screen, and for the pattern paper, you just go to RTS Scrapbooking, and Janet will simply amaze you with how thorough and great of a teacher she is. I'm using these 4 photos because it's a 4-photo layout. It's my youngest daughter, Ryan. She's the one that's featured in every photo, and she is on the right of the photos of her and her one girlfriend. The photo on the very bottom is a bunch of her girlfriends / teammates, and they're all just hanging out. They do some of the most fun team bonding. I mean, they're watching scary movies, they're watching Animal Planet, they're hanging out, being just girlfriends, which I think is just so fantastic that she has this great group of girls she wants to hang out with. So for my background on this one, I only had one piece of off black paper left as backgrounds. And it really wasn't working with the tones that I had for my pattern papers. So I just ended up flipping it over and using it as a piece of white cardstock on the back. All right, so that piece of teal paper that you see right there, I accidentally cut a piece of the paper. I thought I had cut it wrong. So then I had to Frankenstein it back together to get it back to the right size. So that's why you see the washi tape on the back of that really light aqua piece of pattern paper. So that's what that's about. I made a mistake and I fixed it the best I could, and quite frankly, nobody would ever even notice it on this layout. So I'm going ahead and deciding which way I want my pieces of pattern paper to go. And I did go ahead and do a fishtail banner on this piece of aqua paper. I just love me some banners. You see them all the time in my scrapbooking, and they just work for me. So I get the basis of my design there, and then I'm going to go ahead and see what alphas work. I never ended up using those Dear Lizzie black and white alphas on any of my layouts. I ended up not really feeling black with these papers. There's a lot of like indigo and bright pops of pink, aquas, even some really nice deep purple, and the black and white did not speak to me at all. So those go right back into the thickers bins. That's how it goes. So I do think I end up trying to spell the word volleyball on here, and there's a lot of L's in volleyball. That's what I learned, and so that just does not work. You'll see me faff around with it and try to come up with a title. So that's what I'm going to work on for a moment here. So I end up giving up on my title for the time being because I don't know what I want to do. I don't have enough letters to write the whole word that says volleyball, so I'm like, So that doesn't really work. And so then I go ahead to my scrap bin. I have a scrap bin that I keep, all right, we all have a scrap bin, never mind. You guys know what a scrap bin is. And I grab out a piece of paper that I think this is a Paige Evans Horizon paper, and I used my kit that I had with that, and I have a couple bits left, but I adore it. It's my favorite colors to use in scrapbooking just exploded all over that collection. So yeah, I could use it over and over and over again and be just a happy girl. There's a lot of bold colors, and I kind of like that. So I make another fishtail banner going down the right side because I wanted to kind of have a really nice block place to put my 4 photos, to draw the eye in. I'm looking at those, the back side of that pink paper has those really great globes, and I'm seeing if those work. And I end up having just enough of this aqua, print paper to back my photo on. And yes, I had an ATG little trauma there. I ran out of tape. It happens. So thankfully the tape ended up going in like it's supposed to. I didn't have to argue with it or anything like that. I've been having a little problem with the last set of ATG tapes that I had ordered. I order them like 20 rolls at a time or whatever the when you don't pay shipping kind of order is. But yeah, it's a little bit wonky, but I'm working through it. It's perfectly fine. So I have a really nice light aqua border around my photo, but it is just enough to outline my pictures, and that's great. And as frequently happens, I have to move my photos around a little bit on my piece of paper to get it even. And I'm trying to figure out where I want to put this last piece of paper in that Janet wanted us to use. It's like a 4x5, I think. But that's perfectly fine. See, ATG traumas. This is my life. Alright, so that is fixed again. I decide that I want to put some foam on the back of this photo to pop it up a little bit, give my page a little bit more dimension. I have plenty of pattern paper, as we see. So I have a lot of that going on, but I did need a bit of dimension. Gonna have to apologize about the glare. I get that from this overhead art light that I use, and I do have studio lights, but I like just that little bit of extra brightness. So I have that cute little puffy giraffe, but I really don't have a great use for that one on the layout. I just like that it was aqua as well, and it matched. I got that off the take table at a retreat, and I love them. I just got to find a way to use them. So now it's time to work through the title again, and let's see what we come up with. Ta-da! The Wonders of Film. So my title is Gotta Love Volleyball Girls, and I was able to use these itty-bitty little like rubbery freckled fawn. Oh, and there is my head right there because this girl is short. Sorry. Gotta Love Volleyball Girls. It's these freckled fawn little rubbery alphas, and I really like the font because they're fun and whimsical. They are not very sticky, so I end up having to glue each of them down, and of course chipboard alphas, you have to glue each of them down and all of that. So sorry that you have to deal with my ever so curly hair in that photo and my flailing hands, but I will get it together shortly. I'm just grabbing these little pieces that are in my kit, and I'm going to audition a bunch of them and see what colors might possibly work. I usually don't keep my die cuts on, you know, to the top of my layout. They're usually to the bottom, so thankfully you're not stuck looking at my head all the time. This is another, let's see, these are these basic gray flowers that I brought into my kit, and I used them on my layout number 3 as well. The colors are great. I don't ever use up any of they're like the most lemon yellow colored lemon yellow buttons that came with them, but I don't end up using them in the layouts of these kits. But I do end up really liking the die cut flowers, and there was also some like tissue paper cutout in white, as well as like this stiffened netted tulle kind of stuff. Oh, you see it right there on the right. That came with it as well. I use those, but I don't use the bright green leaves, and I don't use the extreme yellow buttons that came with it. I'll use them later though. They just don't make it on to these layouts with this specific kit. So I do use up a ton of them though, so it ends up being a win. So it says "You are magical" on that die cut, and the metallic color, it's not quite a gold. It has like a little bit more of a bronzy shade in it. And this is, I know I want to use this kind of periwinkle color flower, but I only have one, so I end up cutting it in half and using it on either side of this die cut because I wanted the symmetry of the whole thing. So it makes sense to me. So that's what I end up doing. And I end up putting that right on top of where it says Gotta Love Volleyball Girls, right on top of the title, because I'm trying to bring more attention to the title. My title colors are a little bit subdued, and these periwinkle colors are really bright. So the intention is to draw the eye over to that area, which, you know, with that deep saturated color, it ends up helping to bring it right on over. So I have one little die cut doing the work of two around the You Are Magical die cut. So it's definitely bringing you right over to the title just a little bit better. And I'm sure a bunch of you guys, not everybody, a bunch of people that are scrapbookers have it together far more than I do. But I do end up having all kinds of little offcuts from my foam bits. And eventually I Frankenstein them all onto something. I never waste them though. But you end up with little bits and pieces. So the die cuts that I'm going through right there, they're from an older Vicky Bouton die cut pack, and I'm seeing what might work. While my hands are flapping around talking to my friends, sorry, I scrapbook and talk oftentimes on the weekends to different girlfriends scrapbooking, and so you can see my hands flapping around for no reason whatsoever. So in the Vicky Bouton set, there was that really great little notebook aqua piece that I just tucked onto the side, and I thought it was fun. And I'm seeing if anything else works, but really nothing else is speaking to me for this layout, so I'm trying to see what to do next. I know what my problem is, and what my problem is I don't use plain cardstock backgrounds that often. So for me, it looks like my layout is really, really plain. But for a lot of people, they're like, why is this thing so busy? So it just depends on what your thing is. For me, it's like I love tons of patterns, and I love way too many die cuts and mixed titles and all of that. And then I'll see some people do these absolutely clean, kind of clean, graphic, minimalistic layouts that are absolutely gorgeous, and I'm like, well, I should do that. And then I end up adding 5 million things because I like more. That's just how it is. I'm all about the more. So I try to use this little piece that has a clear background on it, and it just does not show up at all. So I throw it onto a scrap of white cardstock, or a card as some of you say, and then it is just enough to give it a little bit more weight on my page, and I fussy cut around it and put it right back where you saw it. But it is a nice way to make pieces show up a little bit more, like the clear sticker pieces. See how you can see it 10 times better than you could before. And it also, the metallic that's on that Paige Evans little sticker book is more of that bronzy color as well, not the true gold. And I end up using a piece of, there's a little sticker, arrow sticker, little dealio that I use on the left there, and I'm seeing if anything else can work. The difference between the two collections that I struggled with a little bit is a lot of that Paige Evans set has a little bit more of like it goes towards like the olive tone is in it. So I do use some, but it's just a little bit more sparingly. And this is the second book that I have had to work through out of that that sticker set. So I am a lucky girl. So I go ahead and put that on, and then I'm going to look at what puffy stickers might end up working for this layout as well. I love those Dear Lizzie puffy stickers that you see that are on the right there. And I keep getting drawn towards the navy colors. I really like the navy in this collection. But any hue, that's the ones that I like. And I also love that cute little aqua colored camper that's in there. Right here you see that I'm using it's like a pink and indigo little camera that I'm going to use there, and I'm going to pop it up on top of that sticker. I'm straightening out the sticker because I want at least the words to be straight, even though the die cut that it's on is not straight. That's on an angle. Just makes it a little bit more interesting for me when I scrapbook. When not every single thing is square. So I'm able to find a couple of these cute little flower bits, and yeah, I really want to use that cute little trailer, but cute little campy trailer, but you know, it doesn't go with absolutely everything. What are you gonna do? So I'm trying to find another place to work in these cute little flower clusters that were in the puffies, and I want to see if any of these puffies work, puffy stickers. I got those at a take table a good month and a half ago. Well, it was a good month and a half ago, whatever it is, and I keep pulling them out to see what I might be able to use. They're adorable. And these are puffy stickers from a goldenrod collection. And they have kind of that olivey tone to them as well, so I need to just use them with something else. These are jelly bean soup puffy stickers, and I do find a way to use a few of those pieces. That's what's so fun about putting kits together ahead of time, that I just kind of go with the flow and see what colors match, and a lot of times you will end up putting collections together that if you're just scrapbooking layout by layout without a kit, you wouldn't go digging through as many of your things or, you know, combining collections as much, and you just might not get that part of your stash on the layouts. So here I have these nice sparkly enamel shapes by Chamel, and I'm able to use those in a few places. Another example of putting kits together and finding ways to mix collections and designers. Seeing if any more of these little Chamel sparkly bits can work. And it looks like I've decided to use some of the stars, and these are, it's a really great sparkly navy blue, and it ends up reading really well when it's near the indigo bits. So once again, I'm trying to use up additional pieces from these last couple enamel dots sheets that I have that I'm trying to kill off. It should not be that hard. And what is that? My Mind's Eye Glam enamel dots that you just saw there. So throwing yet another collection into the mix. Trying to see if I can use these little acrylic pieces from a Jen Scow class that I took with her. Seeing what may or may not work, I don't know. But I will always try, and I like to use either diamond glaze, or I'm working through my bottle of KI glue to attach them. Regular liquid glue does not seem to want to hold these heavy acrylic pieces down, so I pull out the big guns when I'm using my acrylic pieces. Just from a little experience going by, I don't like finding those acrylic pieces in the bottom of a page protector. It just does not. So for my finishing touch, it looks like I'm grabbing out some different mist colors. I'm seeing what might work with it. And I grab my little cardboard box that I use to go ahead and try to minimize the splatter shooting all over my desk. And I have this really great rosy color of mist that I decide to grab out. It's a Shimmers. And I can't remember if it's sparkly or not. I think it has just a little tiny bit of a metallic feel to it, but the pink is spot on. So that's cool. And I also grab this really just stunning color of blue. I'm seeing if that's going to work. And this Heidi color Shine in Butter ends up being a really great match to the little bits of the yellow that I'm using in this layout. I've barely used it, but boy, is that a pretty color. And I think I decide to come in with the Heidi Swap color shine in navy for my very last deep tone that I use in my splatter. And all of these little splatter bits end up being just what I needed to finish this off. I think I had just too much clean white space on my layout for the structured, messy scrapper that I am, because I know that makes sense to y'all, but some of you know what I mean. You kind of get where I am with that. So let me get the rest of these little bits on, and I'm going to go ahead in a moment and clear that box out of the way and show you the end of my layout here. It is finished up, and I just show you briefly a couple of my little cluster bits. It's a really simple layout, but I did enjoy finishing up this series. I'm not going to make the cards. So thank you for watching, and if you could, like and subscribe. Bye-bye.